Wholesale weekly update. Happy Easter, everybody. Pretty decent week. Property leads was going. I had at least 5 leads that were coming in a day, reaching out to them, probably touching them at least 12 times in that first day and then multiple times throughout the week. It's a different now talking to people that are slightly motivated. A lot of these leads are still, they're not real motivation and they're the wrong price. So they're getting to the retail value. I did connect with another TU student who is an agent who does kind of the referral outreach nationwide. I think that's her hedgehog maybe that she's kind of pushing towards. But now I have these leads, as opposed to getting wasted, they're getting pushed to someone that might be able to do something with them, as opposed to just throwing them away and moving them to dead leads like I have been doing. One thing that was cool this week was I had a conversation with someone who actually was motivated. This was someone in New Mexico, very highly motivated in my mind. She had a lot of distress. It was a lot of emotional baggage that was going through. And so conversation I thought went very well. I educated her on numbers and I got to a point where I needed to be at like 15K. She came off at 60K. When I said 15, she dropped to 35. I still thought based off the numbers, I needed to be at 15K. I immediately hopped off, talked with other TU members and had them comp it with me to make sure I wasn't missing something. And then the comps were very varied. So this is where it got really interesting. Someone came in, my ARV was about a 120. Someone else's ARV came in at 200. Someone else said 170. Another person said 160. So that 35K that she said that she needed, I thought at that point, if the ARV was more applicable to what they were saying, there was potentially a deal. So I immediately called her back, said that I could do that 35K. She said to call her back later. I called her back later that evening. I tried to close her on that one. Ended up getting up to like 42. She had another offer and all these other things, whether they were true or not, I don't know. But I kind of wanted to shoot my shot and try to get that contract to 42. Then it kind of died. And so I was a little confused what I did wrong within there. I scheduled a one-on-one with Caesar. Once I had that one-on-one with Caesar on Friday, he kind of dissected that call review from each conversation that I had with that lady. And the things that I'm still doing wrong are I'm not digging deep enough for motivation. Again, I'm very analytical. I'm not smart in my own means that I would say, but very logical. And so I do a lot of pushing as opposed to pulling inside of a conversation. I think I say things to help boost the other person knowing that I know what I'm talking about. And when I do that, it's just a lot of chatterbox, which is unnecessary in these seller conversations. So he kind of got me this idea of don't shoot my shots, not the same as like shooting the shot of like trying to get something under contract, but keep your keep your things in your chamber and use them at the right time. He said I would just unload my chamber right at the very beginning. He said to sit back, ask more questions, and dig deeper because he's really big on if there's no problem, there is no discount. And so if you don't unhinge what that problem is, then you can't get to it. So he just gave me a very, very, very big eye opener. I thought that I was doing good at pulling the motivation, but in that conversation, he said you never actually got to the motivation. So I got to start forgetting the numbers, stop trying to educate on condition and rehab and all this stuff because that's the easy things to get lost in the weeds of. But I need to focus on just truly digging deep to the core of whatever that person's problem is. And when I do that, I think I'll have a better conversation. So that call review was great. I'm going to use that for next week as I go in and try to make sure with every conversation I have, just dig really deep to figure out what that problem is. Another thing that I did this week was I implemented a new thing in my CRM. This one isn't as big, but it is just another stepping stone. Since Property Leads has their refund policy on how they allow you to recoup your money if you can't get in contact with someone or whatever the reasons they have listed are, I set that up in my CRM that when a new lead comes in, I contact them X amount of times. After that first day, they get moved into another status inside my CRM, and then it starts to drip where it's constantly contacting them, and then I constantly call them as well. But then after so many days, if I have not been able to contact them, I will go ahead and submit the refund and move them into another category that's tagged as showing that I've submitted that refund. So I have a way to track that as I come in because I can see this getting very overwhelming as more and more leads come in. So I want to make sure I can manage that before I really open that up. I think it's good now, so it's fine if the leads are coming in, but that's the next step. And then the last thing, I've been posting something on social media every single day for the past, I think it's 43 days now at this point in time. I've had one person reach out to me on the wholesale side of that saying that they were in Tampa Bay, they're in Florida, and that they're seeing my videos and that if I have anything I lock up that they have buyers in that area. This is why I'm doing this. This is one of the main reasons. It's my rebuild phase, still the same thing. But on the business standpoint, people do business with people who are doing business. And so my mentality is, if I can record my growth and my development, I can start getting things under contract and actually do the business and show that I'm doing the business, then I'll be able to network with those people through those just natural interactions that I'm having. So that was cool to see. Nothing's big at all, but just that small little bit that I've pushed out there, it's created somewhat of a little bit of a feedback, which I think will exponentially grow a year from now from consistently pushing something on social media. So trying to leverage that as another way to build my skills, not build my skills, but to elevate my business as a potential new lead source that can come in. So that's this week. Next week's going to be kind of a wash for me. We're going on a little family vacation. Other than that, good week. I would like to get more dials in. I don't think that I hit my KPIs and metrics that I wanted to hit this week, but that call review that I had on Friday, I think trumped anything that happened, because I think that's going to expedite my journey if I can just really pinpoint and focus on those motivational problems and figure out what the actual issue is as why someone is selling their property. So remember to stay happy, hungry, and humble, and I'll see you next week.